I'd like to call this regular board meeting to order. I'd like to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Marevka? Here. Jones?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Parker?
Here.
Ham?
Here.
Bowden?
Here. All right, in your packet are the minutes from our May 14th special village board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion. Second.
Been moved by trustee Parker, second by trustee Jones.
Parker?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes. Next is accounts payable and payroll. We have payroll for the pay period ending 5/16/20 of $45,798.74 and also $2,575.20. General fund, $129,107.74. Capital improvement fund of $1,926.70. And the total for all current funds, $131,034.44. Are there any questions on any of the bills or payroll? If not, a motion to approve.
A motion.
Second. Ham.
Been moved by trustee Marevka, second by trustee Ham.
Marevka?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes. And next is public comment. We will start with, there's a couple people here. Do you have anything to say? Go ahead and state your name, please. And
Jean Houchins,
go ahead.
and I can go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here representing actually the Helping Hands Board. Bev is here with me as well. We're both on the Board of Directors with Helping Hands. We're representing not only the board, but the clients, the supporters, and volunteers. And we're just here to first state that we were disappointed, of course, with the board's decision not to allow the variances that had been requested and approved by the Planning and Zoning Committee. And we would just like to request reconsideration for that. We have submitted in a short amount of time that we were had to gather up a petition requesting basically the same, just your reconsideration on the reasons and reconsidering what was already recommended by the Planning and Zoning Committee. That's all.
How do you feel that decision affects Helping Hands, though? I don't get that.
Well,
You're still able to operate as Helping Hands, correct?
it depends on who owns the building.
Well, you own the building. The church owns the building.
The church owns the building, and we have a buyer for the church.
Right.
And that buyer is interested in buying the church standalone and is fine, making that into single-family housing, and is fine with keeping the current brick building as Helping Hands without any objection on that.
Right.
And so we would need to keep that. The church, Piatone Presbyterian and the Mantino Presbyterian churches merged, as I'm sure you're all aware. And they merged, we meet in Mantino now, and renamed it to the Community Presbyterian Church. And together we support and maintain that building. We have done the painting on it, we maintain it, we are looking at, we've continued to furnish it with fixtures for Helping Hands to make us more efficient, and we've done painting. We're looking at putting all new window treatment in and a new porch, with some better access to the alley when our clients are coming and going. And so it's owned. It will continue to be owned then by the church. supportive, and that church group is dedicated to having that building continue to serve the clients that need to serve it. And so our goal is to have them separate. We need to sell the church building so that it doesn't continue to deteriorate, because it's been unoccupied for over a year now. It's the oldest church in town, and it will only continue to deteriorate. And something needs to be done with that. We can maintain and have a very useful operation serving a lot of people here in the Peatone School District with Helping Hands, if we can maintain use of that building and ownership as a separate entity from the house. And so that's all we're asking. Consideration.
Necessary. Sale.
The buyer is not interested in it. And it's just not something that was approached. It didn't seem that was, I mean, what would change? What does it matter? Who owns it? Based on the reasons for applying the plans and application. Yeah, partnership is not the Well, that couldn't that then require approval again, if it was going to be sold and used in another? Because the current building does not have adequate housing for any housing. People, duplex, whatever, single-family house, it would not be appropriate for that because it's not designed for that.
Well, the old township building on Corning
Is it empty?
is a 125-year-old building, and most recently was used for warehousing. Then our district bought it, and that's being converted through a variance to apartment.
So I don't think what I'd like to do is, look at this petition, discuss with Jim and Amy what our options are here, and if we want to reconsider this, we will come up with a plan and discuss it at another time, but I think we need a little more information from Jim before we can do anything, so.
And that's all we're asking, is for
Okay.
reconsideration. And just so that you're aware, the building, Helping Hands has been in existence for 34 years. And like I say, it's heavily supported by this community and needed.
Right.
We really provide an excellent service to those that are in need. So 34 years, we've had a lot of success. As the building stands, I don't see how the future would see a lot of change in it.
Good.
So we just ask for your reconsideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Other public comment? But anybody on the phone want to make a public comment? Okay, if not, we will move on to reports of the committee, the village administrative report.
Well, you have my report in there, and it spans March and April, but I just wanted to give you a few things for May. We're going to go live with our new phone system May 29th, if all goes well, and that's been a long time process, and so we're looking forward to that. We did go to Will County Land Use, so I did not go there, but we had a phone conference, and it was a panel review for our grant application for South 2nd Street, the Community Development Block Grant on May 19th. So that went really well, and it looks good. We fit into their budget. There were no questions, and I feel like, their comments were they were kind of on a fast track to get those monies distributed out to the communities. So I'll keep you posted on when we get any further information on that. That was just the first step in the process. We asked for $200,000 grant for increasing the storm sewer capacity along South 2nd Street based on some issues that we've been having for many years from the farm field behind there, and then the water going down South 2nd Street. And so hopefully that will come to fruition and we can try to mitigate some of that. So that's all I'll go into on that unless you had any questions.
Questions at all? All right, police chief report. Where'd he go? There he is. Okay.
I really have nothing to report other than yesterday, if anybody's on the Facebook page for the village and for the police department, is the ceremony at the American Legion, the gravesite out there. Some people in here were able to attend it, and it really seems like it's got a lot of views on the webpage. So.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you personally for helping out with that, and in these kind of strange times, it was nice that the Legion could still honor our dead veterans. So I appreciate you helping out with that.
Always a privilege.
I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this phase 3 that we're going into at the end of the week. So do you have anything else, Chief, besides that? Okay.
Something for Chief.
Yeah.
Chief, I'm not on Facebook, but I guess there are some suspicious cars or something you're looking for the other day. Is there a way to notify the board of like pertinent, criminal activity that we should be aware of other than
You know what,
Facebook?
I'll remind myself to send it to your email.
Okay.
I'll send that link so you can see it on the email. You don't have to be a Facebook user, but you can bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll remind myself to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? All right. Do we have Troy on the line?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Just talk loud, okay?
Okay, well, all right, it's been a while, so I got a couple things to update you on. The Corning Avenue water main project, that is still out for permit review from 3 different permit agencies. The IEPA is a water permit. IDOT, because it touches the IDOT right away, and then a CN permit because the water main will go under the railroad. So the permits were sent earlier in the spring. We just received comments back on IDOT and IEPA on Friday. So we are turning those around quickly and getting those sent out tomorrow. So we're hoping those permits will be secured pretty soon. The CN is kind of the question mark. So, right now we're hoping to get the permits in June, and then Aqua can, get it bid. They have a quick bidding process, get it bid and start in hopefully late June or July. Then getting the paving done is going to be the tough thing, just with how long it's taken for the permits. So, right now we're hoping that paving will start in September, October, through the IDOT project. So, if for some reason we're worried that it's going to get pushed too far, we'll have to talk to the Will County Governmental League to, verify everything's okay with the funding. So that's where we're at with that one. Is there any questions on that?
No, other than Aqua, some representatives of Aqua were here earlier, and they kind of said they were planning on, they kind of know your date of September that, they need to be done, so.
Yeah.
I guess the only other, we did have some questions of Aqua about the condition of the sewer line there, because we don't want to repave that road and then have issues, that it has to be dug up. So I don't know if you have any input on that at all.
No, I'm not familiar with the conditions of that sewer.
Okay. Anything else then?
I can give an update on the I-57 permit. I don't know, Amy maybe already has updated you in the last couple of weeks. We sent our revised permit submittal to IDOT on April 8th, which showed the conceptual turn lanes on Wilmington Road and the ramps. And since April 8th, we haven't heard anything. I called IDOT today and talked to their main permit person, who told me they're still waiting for comments from 3 of their bureaus. You know, of course, they're saying because they're working longer, but so we're just trying to stay on top of them to at least get a resolution out of the permits and, you know, kind of figure out which direction to go.
Okay,
It wouldn't be a permit approval because they just told us to submit it to like a concept plan to see where we want to go from there.
right. Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have unless there's other questions.
Questions?
Is there a way that we can see that concept drawing?
Sure, I can email.
Yeah, so, the question, I don't know if you heard the question, that a trustee asked if we could see those concept drawings, and Amy said she can email those to us.
Yeah, for sure. Amy has them, so you can
Okay.
send them out, Amy, or if you need me to do anything, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Troy.
Sure.
Hope to see you soon.
Okay, I'll stay on for the new business.
Perfect. Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. All right, next, the Public Works Department report. Bob is taking a few days off, and he did submit a report. So those were all in your packet. He did also include some estimates for spray foam insulation for the Public Works building. Obviously, we're not going to take action on that today, but Amy, do you have anything to add to that, or?
No, I mean, I think I'll work with him and maybe we'll get you something a little more concise.
Okay.
You can see that, you know, there's a lot of detail here but it's good information for you to have
I
to
guess-
see what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and then, Marcy, do we have in the budget for anything more on that building?
It's in the budget, that portion's in the budget.
It is, okay. And then he was also requesting a storm sewer capacity study. He had put that in his capital request for next year, but, you know, with all the rains we've been having the last couple of years, he was hoping to move that up. So is that something the engineering firm does, or who does that?
We'd have to bid it with the estimated cost that it would be, so we could bid that out.
Okay. Okay. All right, I guess that's something that we can work on. Any questions on the Public Works report?
Is this the last major item then, the installation?
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, and that's the last major
I mean, we still have to finish the landscaping, but we do have a temporary permit, so.
Yeah, they've got occupancy, right?
Give temporary occupancy until June 30th.
Any updates from NICOR?
We just got an email the other day, finally, after months and months and months, and status quo, no change. They're still held up by environmental. And that was in an email. She didn't call me, so I could talk to her and go, what the heck? So we'll continue to try and get some additional updates. But usually environmentals do seem to take a long time, but for such a short water main,
Or gas main.
gas main, yeah, no water main on the mine.
Okay. There is a report from the code enforcement officer in your packets as well. Any questions on that or comments for Amy to relay? If not, we'll move on to treasurer's report. Marcy, you want to?
It's basically the same report. I do want to note at the bottom, you'll see that we're reporting the Business Development District, TIF number 1 and TIF number 2 funds now. Business Development District has received, that would be their first installment of sales tax revenue that they received, so we were able to open the account. Tip number 1 was, we received some real estate taxes from it last year. And then in tip number 2, we've not received any money yet, but we are anticipating money this year. So the $2,500 is from the general fund, so that will need to be paid back, but we needed the funds to open the account and set up the direct deposits for the county. So tip 1 and tip 2, both owe the general fund that amount of money and then other stuff. But you'll see, revenue going forward into those funds. I don't know if anyone has any question on any other funds.
I have a question. Both counties now push back their real estate taxes. They've got a program where the first one's due like normal, and then the second half of the first payment is due. So everything gets pushed back, I think, almost till November before they're all collected. Will that have an impact on our cash flow?
As of right now, they're still sticking to the schedule. So we continue to collect real estate tax funds. We got our first check last week. And then there's 12 total installments. Typically they get it done in 11. So they typically pay us from now until December. So personally, if we see any impact, we'll just get a little bit more money on the end of that in November and December than we would in September. So the biggest chunk will come this month, being not this month, June. You'll see the biggest amount of money come, and then things trickle, and then when the next payments are due, which would have been in September, we would see another big hit and then trickle down. Now that they pushed it back, it depends. You have to realize too, a lot of taxes are tied up with mortgage companies and escrows. So whether they know that change or not, because the bills don't show that change. The bills that were sent out show the September date on them, so, it'll just maybe even actually a smoother, revenue stream versus the ups and downs that we have, so.
Okay.
Any other questions for the treasurer? If not, we'll move on to old business, which there's none. New business, the DCEO sidewalk ramp project payout request from J&J Newell Concrete Contractors. Payout number 1, $83,211.22. So, Troy, do you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, sure. This is for the work they've done so far. I don't know if Andrew informed you that this one came in under what we anticipated, and we have a grant for it, so we want to try to use all the funding available. So I know Amy has requested or already got an extension for the grant, so the plan is for JJ Newell to come back in the fall or summer when they do the Corning Avenue project, because they're the subcontractor for that. So they've agreed to come back and do another location to get up to the grant amount. So that's why it's less than the $100,000.
Perfect.
Sweet. Nice job, Amy.
Yeah. All right. So any questions on that at all? All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve that payout request.
Motion, Ham.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Ham, second by trustee Jones.
Ham,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Marevka,
Yes.
March,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
All right. Next on the agenda is ordinance, the appropriations ordinance for the Village of Peatone, April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. We just held the public hearing previous to this meeting for this appropriations ordinance. Are there any questions from the board on that? If not, a motion to approve ordinance, this will be 2005.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been motion by trustee Bowden, second by trustee Parker.
Bowden,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
March,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Marevka,
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Great, so next item is Governor Pritzker's Phase 3 Restore Illinois Plan. So a week or so ago, we heard that they were planning on modifying the Phase 3 and allowing some outdoor seating for our restaurants and bars. That wasn't in the original plan. We did get some guidance on that over the weekend. And May 29th, which is, I believe, Friday, the restaurants and bars are going to be able to serve people with outdoor seating options. The chief has, and Amy provided us with some guidelines that the governor put out this weekend that we expect the restaurants and bars to, uphold. I had Amy and the chief contact all of our establishments in the village to let them know that, we'd be willing to work with them any way possible to get them to open. And, even if they don't have outdoor seating right now, to, if they had some kind of plan to do something temporary, we'd be happy to work with them. I think the letter was in here that Amy sent out, and the chief delivered to a lot of establishments. So we were just asking, just kind of informing them that, we're on board with this. We would just like them to kind of submit a plan to us, what they want to do, so that, we make sure everybody's in compliance. So, I don't know, Chief, if you want to throw in your 2 cents there, appreciate it.
Well, since we seen the guidelines over the weekend, I was reviewing them, and today, the village administrator and myself sat down, we were talking about some of the items, and I know we were attempting to expand the outdoor seating and discussing whether or not we use parking spaces on the public streets. And all the good intentions, it also offers us a lot of headaches. Because in the past, we just do not allow outside seating on the streets unless the streets are totally closed. And if we don't close them down, we have no control, and safety could be jeopardized. The establishments that have a Class O outside beer garden seating, which is Fire Pit, the American Legion, and Game On, they already have the Type O license that allows them to be outside. The shutting down streets or allowing them to be in the parking spaces probably isn't our best solution for the liquor establishments. Until, like I said, until they can go full operations based on the next phase with the limited seating inside. I mean, and our regulations, like I said, I just printed a few things out for you, bits and little tabs from our liquor ordinance regarding that. So I'd be more than happy to answer some questions, but I went down to Mantino because there was talk that they allowed some things on the sidewalks and parking spaces, but they do not. They've removed all those. So everything's open and all the parking spaces are open. And the problem is either we have to shut down the streets, which is going to affect the businesses that are open, for them to use the spaces, parking spaces in front of them. The only time we usually do that is during our community festival, the chamber.
So,
Okay.
it doesn't, not gonna put those decks, they're not putting them back in place like they were last summer?
It's all gone.
And that was a decision based on COVID now, or just what didn't work for them last summer?
I don't think it worked last summer. They took them all down. They don't allow any people to park in parking spaces for outside seating. Because that, that's another, the problem is you have to have a sure barrier than a piece of tape or a barricade, because, the streets are not exceptionally well lit at night anyway, in the night, and I know some of the bars may be disappointed, but I can't control what they have for business space. So that's just, if the board, I know, Game On is on the agenda, but I just wanted to give that for you for discussion and see how you wanted to proceed.
So, mostly we're talking about downtown here. If some of the restaurants on other areas of town, if they have space where they can put out some tables on a lawn or their parking lot,
Yeah.
we're okay with
The
that,
downtown
right?
area with the other businesses, non-liquor,
Right,
is a lot easier to handle. When you have liquor and people sitting out there, especially with the 6-foot margin you're supposed to have between tables,
right.
I think if some of the businesses that may open up on Main Street, there's going to be open for what they have, and then when they're done for the day, they'll just put everything away. So I don't think it's going to interfere. It's just when you have people with alcohol on the Main Street, it's very difficult to control by the people staying where they're supposed to be contained. I know the other day, Dr. March and I were talking, and then of course now the guidelines came up, and I kept thinking about the public streets being used for this temporarily, but it just really doesn't have a solution, and we can't close them because it affects too many businesses that are downtown right now.
And you're not supposed to take the sidewalks, so that's not an option either, so.
So you're primarily referring to Second Street, though, right?
No, Second Street is closed. We're referring to Susie's and Bowling Alley downtown.
You're talking about Second Street, though.
Oh,
Actual
Second Street, yes, I'm sorry. You say Second Street, I'm
But for example, if you closed off Railroad Street, you would affect no businesses, right?
well, you have the back people that own the apartments in the photo studio. That's where they park.
Yeah, I just, there is a note in here that says municipalities are encouraged to help restaurants and bars expand their outside seating. And I think we want to help and encourage. I'm not saying it's not problematic, and I'm not saying it's gonna be hard to manage, and I'm not saying that it's gonna be tough, but these restaurants, I think, are important to our town, and I think that some of these restaurant owners are on their knees right now, and they really
The
need help.
restaurants, there's only one restaurant downtown, other than Game On. It's a corner, and what they have, I've talked to them, they were talking about putting picnic tables on their grass, on there. But the restaurants is, we can be a little flexible with them because they're not serving alcohol. That make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah.
The restaurants, we have no trouble with trying to help them out, and in fact, Game On still utilize it, once you utilize the curbside till that limitation is lifted, because a lot of people still use that.
Would there be a way to close down, what is that street, is it Railroad Street, is that what this name of it is? Close the street down, but leave that parking area open, and they can like pop out the back, like for Game On or Susie's or whatever, they could pop that out and use that street, but still block it off, and the parking area could still be used for the people in the apartment buildings and stuff to get to their houses. Would that be a possibility?
If we block that off, it's going to, you know, you have to tell all those people who live in the apartments to park usually on the opposite side of the, how would I say, the east side of there's two lanes there, but they park on the other side.
Maybe if you block it off before, because I think are there like cement barriers where they park up to?
Yes.
And you could just have the gates or the fences or whatever they're gonna block the bar area off with, just have it doesn't even have to come up all that way, but just to give the bars enough space. And you probably wouldn't have to like have the entire road blocked off, but it would just be, you know, you'd have it, I mean, it wouldn't be a throughway unless you were going around through the parking lot to get around.
Well, I don't think we need to make a decision tonight as far as blocking off streets. I think if somebody, like sort of, we requested that businesses come to us with a plan, but we really don't have any plans except, you know, Vicki is here tonight, but I think let's hold off on deciding on blocking off any thoroughfares until, you know, somebody comes with a plan to us, and then we can kind of decide if
And
it's
that's
reasonable.
what Amy and I talked about. Until we see what their ideas are and what they may need, i.e. Susie's or the bowling alley, as long as they don't take in effect, especially Second Street, you know. And if they want us to consider blocking off things, we have to, they'll have to be, we'll have to make that decision once we see their plan. I mean, we're never going to make everybody happy, but we just can't, either we shut down the downtown, which is not going to be best for the businesses that are down there, because we just can't let them be on Second Street.
Right.
No, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But the back area where
The
it
back
just
area could be,
affects two of the.
but I know that, and I'll let Vicki talk about her avenue, because I know she's not going out in that any farther than what her setup is.
Okay.
Okay.
Question for the attorney. I mean, what is our legal liability if we were to step ahead just one step and allow like 50% capacity? I mean, what is our legal liability with something like that?
What do you mean violate the
Yes.
rule?
Yeah. Because I can't imagine every municipality in the whole state.
They can't get insurance.
I was asking, the attorney?
You would not want to do that.
Okay.
We have, you know, for example, if we do something because of COVID, we have immunity under the Tort Immunity Act for any actions we take or actions we don't take in response to a public health emergency. That's actually in the code. Okay, but to violate the governor's direction, first of all, we don't have the authority to do that. You know, we need to stay out of that.
Simple question. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
All right. Any other questions about specifically about our, you know, the reopening plan for outdoor seating before we get into Vicki's requests?
I just wanted to mention too that for reopening, things that are reopening, the village hall is gonna reopen June 1st, the lobby. It's been closed since, I believe, let's see what my memo says, March 19th. And so that lobby will reopen to full hours, normal hours that we used to be open. And we'll take all the proper precautions per the Illinois Department of Public Health for the public re-entering.
Yep.
Just so you're aware.
Any questions on that? I wanted to get that village hall open so that people could come in, and we're going to, like she said, take all the proper precautions that the Department of Public Health said. We're getting a little plexiglass screen installed if it's not there already, and we're gonna at least, allow the public to come in and, take care of business. So. The Chief, do you have any update on the village stickers, so with what we wanted to do with those? I know originally they were due on.
Yeah, they were, I think, June 1st, we would start looking at that, but we can't order any list to compare until after June 1st, because Secretary of State's office is closed.
Right.
And they won't answer the phones. So until that, I've discussed that with Amy and went on the discussion of how to handle that. And
I did see they were opening though
June
next
1st.
week, right? Yeah, June 1st.
Yeah, June 1st, I'm sure they'll have 1 or 2 phone calls from everybody. So we're trying to order our list as soon as we can get somebody to answer the phone.
Okay, so what that means to the public is that the vehicle stickers are due, and they have been due since March 31st, but we've kind of been put off any enforcement, but you need to get that done before long here, so. Okay. All right. Next item, Vicki Moore from Game On would like to talk to us about additional seating for a beer garden.
Hello.
Hello.
So pretty much you guys recapped everything, but what I'm looking to do, I'm not interested in front space. We do use that for food pickup, so we're good. We don't want to go out into the street. I would just like to extend what we already have a little bit to the, I went over it with Dr. March and the chief just to kind of show them, so the tenants can still come downstairs and walk out. They'll still remain 6 feet from, but it'll give us room for extra tables this way. And if we take away my employee parking and extend it that way, I could fit probably 6 more tables in there with 6 people, and that's 36 people. And I know I have an existing beer garden, so I don't want to be greedy and ask for more, but I want to be greedy and ask for more because any extra seat is beneficial to me. I am going to have a banner made up with the rules and just so you guys can see what I'm asking of our customers. Our masks are required if you cannot maintain social distancing with people outside your party. No loitering inside the building, 1 at a time, bathroom use only. Do not move the tables, they must stay where they are, they're 6 feet apart. Butts and seats, if you can't find a chair, there's no standing room. No more than 6 at a table. And to minimize cross-contamination with our servers, please dispose of your own trash. And then it goes on to say that if you talk about the C word, which is corona, but that's just something fun. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, so I'm just asking for a little bit of extension each way. I will keep the tables away from the sidewalk, that far sidewalk on Railroad Street. If you close Railroad Street behind our 2 buildings, which would allow Susie to have her back beer garden, it gives me maybe a couple feet. It doesn't matter to me either way, but I think it would be a nice gesture for Susie. And that's really it. What else do you guys need from me?
I don't think
I just wanted to have open dialogue as far as what you're expecting from me
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I mean, just to let the other trustees know, I stopped by there the other day and she showed me kind of what she wanted to do and it seems pretty reasonable. Chief, you agree? Yeah. So, yeah, they just kind of keep it to what you said. I think it would be fine.
okay, and it should be enclosed with a snow fence, is that okay? We have like a temporary orange
Yeah.
snow fence, we just wrap around some posts we made, so we'll keep it enclosed.
Yep, that should be good.
Okay.
And
And
maybe
if you see the letter that we sent out, we tried to give the businesses, a little bit of guidance, which, we said a barrier, but we didn't give them any more detail than that. But, we're not saying it has to be,
concrete structure.
Right. So, if, like Vicky's, she's got the beer garden, but if she extends it, she doesn't have to extend the actual, beer garden barrier. But we just talk about hours of operation and what kind of containers they have to be in, but that doesn't apply to an actual beer garden. But if it's not a beer garden, some businesses are not going to have an actual beer garden. So we're just trying to cover all of our bases here when we're talking about other businesses. But This is all kind of new to everybody, so we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, I just wanted to have some open dialogue, just
Yeah.
to confirm, like, our outdoor beer garden license that I have, our Class O license, it says we're able to open till 11 o'clock every night. So I just want to clarify that, are we keeping with that? And it's just the people who don't have the Class O that have to close at 9 and 10, or?
Chief, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I was reviewing the stipulations of the liquor licenses, and we were talking about 10 o'clock
Right.
and 11 o'clock on weekends, and it's, the O already says 11 o'clock closed up anyway.
Okay.
Music off to 10, which is what we always do.
So it's, the one thing, because the board doesn't meet for 2 more weeks, is if the village administrator and myself, if we, along with the mayor, liquor commissioner, et cetera, can sign off in any
Plans that come in.
plans, that's what I was thinking, plans that other liquor license holders may want to submit.
Yeah, we'd really like to be able to expedite these and not have to necessarily bring every plan to the board, as businesses are gonna wanna gear up for this and opening.
So-
Also involving the road closures, if there's something that's
Yeah,
Right.
designed and makes sense that we're content with, if we, between the 3 people I mentioned, we can just check off and.
Yeah, so
and then if-
my thought is that we, if these plans come in, if, we can approve those and then bring it to the board the next meeting, and if you guys have, issues, we can always deal with it then, so. Is that okay with everybody?
we did talk about, hours of operation for establishments that do not serve alcohol, just adhering to that business's normal hours of operation.
But no later than 11, let's say,
Right.
no matter what.
Right, if they're outside,
Yeah.
it's just, we don't want to, have a nuisance occurring.
Okay. All right, anything else, Vicki?
No, I don't think so.
Great, thanks for coming in.
Okay,
The- the-
thank you
the only-
guys, and,
I'm sorry, go
so
ahead.
does that mean yes?
I say
So I can skip out of here? Yeah, and as always, we're willing to work with you guys, so if something changes, and I printed those out, I have a bunch of those, thank you. If anything changes, we're always willing, we're up for discussion to talk to you guys however we need to, but,
So I don't know, do we need to vote on this, or is it?
I don't believe so.
No. I mean, with the understanding this is only until, you're able to open
Right, exactly.
normal hours and stuff, so.
And the only other couple things that the chief and I talked about after our meeting, Dr. March, was that make sure your DRAM insurance covered you outside of your.
it's
your-
still on we're not on public property, so
Okay.
yes.
And then that you adhere to all county health department guidelines for outside food service. So and I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have a very tight relationship there.
It's really just making it a little bit bigger to fit some more butts in there.
All right.
Okay, all right, thank you guys.
Good luck.
Thank you, Vicki.
All right,
Thank you.
I'll see you
See you soon.
Friday. I'll see you on Friday.
There'll be a line.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Bye guys, thank you.
Bye-bye. So, next item, I guess we talked about already, protocols for Village Hall reopening. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I'm sorry, I hopped over.
Yeah, that's okay.
Items.
That's all right. But I think everybody's okay with that. Next is our proclamation for Public Works Week, and we did have a little ceremony last Friday because it was last week, but we wanted to get this put into the minutes. So, whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to the sustainability and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life and well-being of the people of the Village of Peatone. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the village of Peatone, Illinois to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2020 marks the 60th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, resolved, I, Mayor Peter March, do hereby designate the week May 17th to 23, 2020 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. So like I said, we had a little ceremony with the public work guys and got a picture with them and put it on our Facebook page, and really appreciate the work they do throughout the year. Do we need a motion to approve that proclamation? Yeah, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve that proclamation.
I'll motion it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved by trustee Marevka, second by trustee Parker.
Marevka?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Okay, Police Pension Board appointment. If you recall, a few weeks ago, we accepted the resignation of Jerry Baker from the Pension Board. I would like to appoint Bill Sander, who's a resident, longtime resident of this community. He is a former police officer from Richton Park. He has served on the pension board at Richton Park, so he's got a lot of training that, we won't have to train him to serve on that board. So with the board's consent, I would like to appoint him to the police pension board.
Good choice.
Yes. I agree.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
So it's been moved by trustee Parker and second by trustee Marevka.
Parker?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
All right. Questions of the press? Anybody on the line? Okay. One other thing I wanted to bring up, the census obviously is going on. As of last week, Peatone was at 66% of people have responded to the census, which puts us kind of in the middle of the pack of our areas. Some areas are, down at 50%, some are up at 75%. So I just wanted to encourage everybody, most everybody's gotten in the mail a request to do that online. It takes about 30 seconds to do. And I would encourage everybody to do that. They have extended the deadline to do the census to October 31st because obviously of the virus, they're having trouble figuring out how to get people to knock on doors. So the more that people can respond, online, the less that'll have to be done. It's super important for the village to get everybody counted because a lot of the funds that we get from the federal government are based on how many people we have here. So it's something that's important. I asked Amy if there was, anything that we can do as a village to, promote that. Maybe making some Facebook posts about it and, advertising it somehow. So hopefully, we can get that done. Anything else for the good of the board? If not, I would like to go into executive session for the purpose to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Bowden, second by trustee Ham.
Bowden?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
And there will be no action taken